It's your boy Cash. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm gonna sit up here and talk about startup costs. I don't think a lot of people think about when they buy a bike, how much it's really gonna cost you. I know I'm one of them people like, yeah, I didn't think about everything. I just saw that the bike on Amazon was going for like $2,200. I was like, shit, I can afford that. It's easy. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of other costs that come along with a bike. So we're gonna get and talk about that in this video. Y'all stay tuned. So we back. All right, so I wrote down some things that I feel like people might want to consider if they want a bike. Spring is on its way. The weather about to get hot again. I know a lot of people have been watching that video that I dropped of the GTX 250 that I purchased off of Amazon. That is one of my highest videos right now. So I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be a lot of people looking into getting a bike this summer. But I want to drop this video to help those that decide to go get that bike, what also comes with that bike as far as expenses and costs. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. All right, so the bike itself is like $2,200, and then the shipping is like $400 or $500, which I think gives it a grand total like $2,800. So let's just round it off to $3,000. So you're gonna pay $3,000 off rip just for the bike, all right? And this is on the lower end of what bikes cost, because y'all know bikes like Kawasaki's and all that stuff, especially if you buy them brand new, it's gonna be way more than that. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at 5,000 or better. But anyway, so the bike itself is 3,000. The next thing you gotta consider is you gotta do your first oil change on it. Now, with this bike, I ain't talking about bikes brought in the dealership from the actual dealerships, bikes brought for Amazon. When you first get this bike, you gotta do an oil change on it. All right, so that costs about $12 for one. It costs about $12 for about a gallon of oil. So now we had 3,000. Let's just say $3,012, right? Then you gotta put gas in it, right? The bikes don't come with gas, so you gotta put your own gas in it, right? It might have a little bit of gas, but no, I don't think mine had no gas at all. But either way, you gotta get gas. So the gas cost me to fill mine up. Mine is like a 4-gallon tank. It costs about $12. You know what I'm saying? And that goes, miles per gallon is like 50. I think you get 50 miles to the gallon. So I could probably get like 200 miles on my bike. You know what I'm saying? Off for $12. You know what I'm saying? You can't get that in no car. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. And as the weather changes and start getting hotter, I'm gonna be taking my bike to work. I'm not even gonna be driving my truck. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let the truck sit. I'll take the bike to work. I don't work too far from here either. But anyway, so you got the bike, which is $3,000. You got the first oil change, which is about $12. You got the gas, which is about $12 to fill it up. All right. Well, the oil was $12 and then the gas was $12. All right. Now you got to get into, you got to have insurance on the bike. All right. My insurance for the bike for the whole year was about $500 for this particular bike. It cost me about close to $500, but it covered me for the entire year. So I just paid the whole $500. I know for a fact that the bike is covered, it's insured, and I ain't got to worry about it till next year. But insurance, that's the cost. Mine was $5. Yours might depend on your driving record, depending on your age. It might cost more, but mine was $5. All right, on to the next expense. I had to register the bike, and I had to pay property tax on the bike. All right. I believe, I don't really remember, I don't got the receipts. I do, but I'm not about to go look for it. But I think I paid like $60 and like $60 registration fee for the bike or something like that, all right? So my total cost just for the bike was $3,644, all right? So that's buying the bike, doing the first oil change, putting gas in it, insuring it, and getting it registered. All right, cost me $3,644, okay? I didn't do nothing for myself yet. I didn't protect myself. So we still got to do that, right? The helmet, first helmet I brought was $120. And that's still, I think, on the low end, okay, of helmets. Because helmets, there's some helmets out there that cost some money, all right? Everything that I got for this bike and for this experience, I actually bought everything on Amazon. I will leave links to everything that I purchased or that I brought or whatever the case may be. So you can click the links down below and, you know, if you want to check out what I got. But the helmet cost $120. Then I had to get gloves. The gloves was like $20. I got 2 sets of those. I actually got another helmet. So now I got 2 helmets, let's say at $120, $130 a piece. Then I got the gloves, which was $20 a piece. I got 2 of them. I got a blue pair and a black pair. So that's $40. And then the jackets. Okay, now I'll tell you, well, the suit, let's just go with the suit, because I got a whole lot of different moto gear and stuff like that. But just to say the suit was $89. And then the boots, then I had to get me some moto boots, you know what I'm saying? Protect the ankles, protect the toes, you know what I'm saying? And good for the gear shift level or whatever. So I brought those, and those were like $45 for the boots. All right, so then on top of that, I also had to learn how to ride, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew how to ride, but I ain't know how to like ride, you feel me? Like, nigga, like, you know what I mean? Getting to go up and down the block type shit, you know what I mean? But not really be out there, not really be on the street like that. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm comfortable and I'm, you know, go out of light, know how to switch the gears down, shift, up shift, like perfectly. I ain't know how to do that. So I decided to go take an MSF course. So your boy went to the Harley school, took the MSF course, and that cost me $350. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, $350 for the MSF course. What was the other thing? Then once you do that, you gotta pay for your actual license. I had to pay for the permit to go to the course. You know what I'm saying? I think the permit was like $6. The permit was like $6. I think the license was like $6 or something like that. Between the helmet, the moto suit, the boots, the gloves, the permanent license, the motorcycle course, the MSF course, I spent another $630. So that's on top of the $3,644 that I spent just on getting the bike straight, right? So I paid $3,600, almost $3,700 just to get the bike straight. Then I kicked out another $700 to get me straight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much the basics though, right? So you're gonna spend probably like at least, what's that, $4,000 or $5,000? Like you need to have at least $5,000 to get everything done. And it might be different in people's states, it might be different in people's records, it might be different. But I'm saying this probably for me is on the low end. It's like really on the low end, and that's probably was the minimum to get everything set up, to get the bike, get the protection, get the all of that shit, like probably at least $5,000. So you see this bike for 22, it ain't really 22, it was 22, but when you throw shipping and taxes and you have to get gear and take courses and get licenses and insurance and registration and all of these type of things, like, nigga, them numbers is gonna run up. Them numbers gonna run up, and that's one of the things I didn't think about, but either way, I mean, I got it all done, and I was real quick about it and precise about it, and yeah, y'all see my bike still back here and backing me, you know, with the blue lights on and everything, you feel me? But yeah, the expense is definitely for a bike, it costs, you know, and I think $5,000 is the minimum, and this is just for Amazon bikes. So for cats that's really buying like real bikes like 650s, 750s, and you know 1000s and stuff like that, like yeah, them joints, y'all kicking out some bread, you know. And then on top of that, the gear that you choose, because like if you buy gear like Alpine, or I think that's the other brand, Dainese or something like that, them suits and them boots and gloves and helmets cost some bread, and I know everybody can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? Or even if you could, do you really want to spend it on that when you can get a suit off of Amazon for like 100, 130, 102, you know what I'm saying? But even though the Alpine's probably one of the best suits because it's leather and good quality. But anyway, Other things that you would mess around and spend money on, like I said, bike protection, you know what I'm saying? I got some sliders on my bike, on the front and on the back of my bike, so in case my bike tip over or whatever the hell happened, that it'll protect the engine. As much as it can, the bike's still gonna get damaged, but the sliders will definitely help with minimizing that. The front cost me $25, the rear sliders cost me $50. Then I bought the lever guards for the side to protect the clutch and the brake. The guards cost $43. So the extra total of that was like $150, you know what I'm saying, that I paid just to get stuff to protect the bike. I really wanted to get a crash cage, but this bike, the style of it and stuff, there's like, unlike Kawasaki Ninja or Suzuki or things that is common and people known of, these bikes, you have to get like some kind of aftermarket cage or get some shit fabricated for this bike. It does resemble a Ninja's frame, but I just got tired of it, of trying to figure out which crash cage would fit, because then I had to send it back and get a new one. So I just decided to go with sliders, and I'm just pray that I don't slide no goddamn way. But but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just want to try to protect the bike as much as I can. It's really to protect the engine, because I see a lot of niggas crash their shit, and then they shit be leaking oil and shit like that, and I be like, damn, son. But see them sliders, where they at on the bike, they low enough that I think that it'll protect the engine in the slide. The fans will probably still get jacked up, and and hopefully the lever guards will help protect the steering wheel, you know what I'm saying, and the handles with that. But hopefully we don't never gotta experience that, you feel me? Moving on, theft protection, that was something else that I invested in. I brought this, it's called a brake lock, a brake lock thing that goes on the handlebar. It locks the brake back. It locks the brake on, so the front wheel don't move. So if somebody try to run off with it or put it in neutral and try to roll it, it ain't going nowhere because the brake is locked on the front wheel. So that's something I invested in, and that was about $17. So that was a cheap investment for, just to keep my damn bike there, or at least make it kind of harder for somebody to take it. I also had invested into a motorcycle cover. That also came with like 2 chains. So with the 2 chains, I put one through the cover and through the front wheel and locks that down, and then I put one through the back on the back wheel and lock that down to the frame or whatever. So yeah, if you want to take my bike, you're gonna have to work for it, and you're gonna have to cut some shit and all type of shit. So I'm gonna hear you. You know what I'm saying? So you're not just going to, leave with my joint. But either way, and then you got accessories and mods. You know what I'm saying? You might want to make modifications to your bike. I made a few. I made adjustments to my levers, but I changed out my my clutch. I think I was cheap too. I was like no more than probably $50 to do that. I know if you want to get the ASVs, I know those cost about 100 and change or something like that. But I'm actually going to end up putting my OEM clutch back on because of other reasons, but that'll be a whole nother video. Yeah, and then I did my exhaust. I had got the SE Project exhaust off of Amazon. I don't think they up there no more. But at one point in time, you was able to go up there and get them. I don't know if they was aftermarket, knockoff brands, whatever. But I did get me a SE Project exhaust, and that it ain't cost much. I forgot how much my exhaust cost, but I'm just saying those are extra costs, extra expenses. Those are extra expenses that people don't think about, So you go from just wanting a bike and you buy the bike, but it's a lot of shit that come with the bike. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that come with it. You gotta get it registered. You gotta get it insured. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta put gas in it. You gotta do maintenance to it. You gotta protect yourself. You gotta get yourself gear and armor and things of that nature, jacket, helmet. And then if you want to protect the bike, then you gotta invest in crash cages and sliders and things like that, things of that nature. And then if you don't want anybody to steal your shit, then they have things alarms you can put on the bike. They got disc locks for the disc lock theft joint that'll stop people from stealing your bike and stop the wheel. You know, they got the brake level lock that I got. You know what I'm saying? They got that. You know, and they got actual physical alarms that somebody your shit move, knock it off, the joint gonna sit up there and go off and start beeping. You know, but these are all expenses and things that come with owning a bike that I feel like a lot of people don't think about. You know what I'm saying? So get the bike, and you can be like, yo, I'll do everything later. But you know, if you get that bike, you're gonna want to ride it. And that's why I was like, I knew I was gonna want to ride I knew I just didn't want to go buy the bike and then not having insurance. God forbid I crash it, God forbid something happened, and I ain't get my paperwork and shit together. And now I got bigger problems, yo. You know what I'm saying? And I'm taking a loss on the bike, because the bike probably fucking crashed and done. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, do your shit right, pay all your bill, all your expenses, or whatever. Do everything you're supposed to do for the bike. It's gonna cost more than don't just look at how much a bike is gonna cost you. Have an estimate of what everything is gonna cost you, so you know when you step into this, you stepping in correct and you can cover everything. But it's your boy Cash. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace. Bow.